Fade in. Exterior, school. Morning. Angle on a large black eyeball. Not human, but amphibian. Reflected is an old brick-and-mortar schoolhouse. A gecko crawls across the concrete wall, making its way toward the main planters on the other side of the walkway. A loud bell rings out, stopping the little guy in his tracks. Countless pairs of feet storm past it as the gecko tries to evade multicolored shoes stampeding toward the front doors of the building. Whack! Just like that, the gecko is flattened. A rock is pulled back to reveal a dark-haired boy with cold eyes brandishing a hellish grin. This is Billy, 13. He quickly admires his work and then hustles back with the rest of the students. We are left staring at a gruesome murder scene of one defenseless gecko. Jillian, 13, wears a generic plaid school uniform and unconventional fiery red hair. Billy observes from a distance as Jillian gently picks up the carcass and places it in the small hole dug into the soft soil, sending the gecko to a place of rest. Interior, classroom, moments later. Jillian sits in the center of an unruly classroom, buried deep into a book designed with beautifully ornate foliage and gold leaf ink. The title on the front reads Tales from the Mythic Forest. Exterior, track field, day. Students sprint across a green field. Jillian sits perched against a tree, flipping through pages of old Celtic drawings depicting a man grown from the earth. Exterior, school, day. Jillian straddles a cement wall, rummaging through a brown paper sack. She pulls out a sandwich and unwraps it. A gentle breeze flows through her hair, and for a brief moment, she takes the time to be present with Mother Nature. Billy and a brood of his idiotic buddies watch as Jillian feels the wind move all around her. It's weird, different. The moment passes and Jillian takes a bite of her sandwich. Immediately, she springs to her feet, spitting everything to the ground. She looks to find the tail of the gecko on the floor. Billy laughs uncontrollably, starting a chain reaction of giggles and pointed fingers throughout the yard. Interior classroom, day. A ruler hits against the chalkboard held by a teacher wearing a tweed jacket and a greasy comb-over. His name's not important. All that's important is the word chameleon written across the board.
Who can tell me how the chameleon manages to stay alive in the wild?
Rows of kids roll their eyes, some asleep, some glazed over, looking off into nothing. Agitated tapping is heard behind Jillian, who's sketching flowers and vines onto paper. The tapping develops into a loud and heavy rhythmic thud. She swiftly turns behind her to find Billy, who's staring right at her, his dirt-infested fingers tapping on the desk.
Jillian?
Jillian's face turns red as she looks around the room to everyone staring back at her. She stands from her desk, all eyes on her. Jillian finds Billy glaring at her intently.
Camouflage.
What about it?
Well, it's used to blend into an environment so it can be hidden.
Billy's eyes are fixed on Jillian as she stands there, uncomfortable in her own skin, naked and in the open. Exterior, school, afternoon. Jillian storms out of the school doors, rushing down the stairs as fast as her legs can move. She trips, falling onto the ground. Pages of floral drawings scatter everywhere. Kids rush from behind, paying no attention. Billy strides past Jillian, eyes beaming and a grin that makes her skin turn to R.L. Stein goosebumps. The wind kicks her pages into the air. She chases them down as each gust scatters them further into the woods. She grabs the last drawing and finds herself far from the school, isolated from anyone. Sounds of inaudible whispers creep from behind her. Jillian turns quickly to find nothing but rustling leaves and branches. She takes notice to a beautiful autumn tree, splashed with vibrant orange, yellow, and red fronds. She takes in the breeze, gently closing her eyes, feeling as it passes through her body. The sound of the wind moves through the trees. In the distance, birds chirp at the sun. All of it together transforms into one harmonized symphony. Then Jillian snaps out of her trance to find Billy standing nose to nose. Billy shoves her against the tree. Jillian's frightened, but not quick to run. Billy reaches into his pocket and pulls out a knife. He thrusts it against her thigh.
Let's see if you're really a redhead, huh?
The knife glides along her leg and up her skirt. She gasps as the knife slowly digs into her skin. Not too deep, just enough to get Jillian to squirm.
I don't see you stopping me.
Blood trickles down her leg as the knife sinks deeper.
Billy, come on!
Billy's cronies stand in the distance. He puts his knife back into his pocket.
See you around.
Jillian lets her tears dry against her cheeks as she watches him fade far from the trees. Interior, living room, night. Wedged between her disconnected parents, Jillian stares off into a television her father channel surfs through. Nothing but bullshit advertisements for cookware and golf equipment. He leaves the channel on an old black and white creature feature. Creature from the Black Lagoon. On screen, the gray sea monster bursts out of the water. Jillian's eyes come back to life. She leans in closer to the screen and watches as it grabs its victim and drags them into the depths of the sea. Interior, garage, night. Jillian rummages through old boxes of costumes, uncovering an old ghillie suit and a box of leaves from a production of Something with Trees. Exterior, woods, afternoon. Billy and his cronies kick rocks and light firecrackers as they make their way through the woods. The wind picks up and a gentle howl moves through the trees. Billy takes notice.
Quiet.
The boys stop and all listen. Another faint howl in the distance.
What the hell is that? Shut up.
A gust of wind blows through the trees, and the boys turn behind them to find a large green man 10 feet tall with hands the size of bears and a face like vines.
Ah!
The boys escape into the woods for dear life. Squealing, Billy slips over his feet and nosedives into a rock, knocking him out cold. The green man stands laughing, watching the boys shriek in terror and hightail out. Jillian takes the mask off.
You should have seen your face.
Her eyes widen as she looks at Billy, who's not moving. She quickly turns him over, revealing a blood-soaked mouth. Jillian peers around for help, but the boys have already gone too far. She looks back to Billy, who leaps from his unconscious state and wraps his hand around Jillian's neck. Jillian fights with everything she has, gasping for any bit of air she can.
You like playing games?
Jillian's hands fumble to find anything to defend herself with. She reaches into Billy's pocket, pulling out his knife. Billy smacks it out of her hand. A brief moment of air. Jillian takes a large gasp before Billy's hands regroup around her throat, this time tighter. Jillian's eyes flutter as life begins to flee. A strong gust blows leaves through the air, revealing a large rock. Jillian's fingers stretch towards it, and in an instant, she pulls the rock up and smashes it against Billy's head. Quickly, Jillian straddles Billy and begins to shatter his face into unrecognizable pieces. Blow after blow, she screams out in fear. With one final thud, Billy's body goes limp. Jillian gazes at the lifeless body. She moves to her feet as the trees begin to sing. Wind blows through her hair. She can feel its energy. The wind blows leaves that begin covering Billy's body, camouflaging it with the earth. Jillian stalks past the mound, watching as Billy fades away and blends into the beautiful autumn trees as we fade out.